All right, welcome back. We are on Unit 6.4, and this is the third lesson for Unit 6. And we are going to start to look at different forms of linear functions. Okay, so today we're going to be focused on slope-intercept form. Okay, but before we do, let's quickly review what we did last time. We were looking at the slopes for parallel lines and perpendicular lines, right? So let's see here. We have two lines here, A and B, AB. Okay, line AB and line CD, and see if they are parallel, perpendicular, or neither. Okay, so I'll give you like a minute to try it. Okay, so you can find the slope of AB. Again, the slope is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. You should get 2 out of 5 here. Whereas the slope for CD, you do the same thing. So y2, 6 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, you should get 10 out of, this would be -4, so that's -5 over 2. Comparing these two slopes, you can conclude that AB is perpendicular to segment or line CD, right? Because you can see that the slopes are negative reciprocal of each other, right? So negative of each other, and fraction is being flipped. Okay, so that's what we did last time. Okay, so we are going to be looking at the slope-intercept form of the equation, okay? And it has the form of y equals mx plus b, okay? Where m stands for, we talked this before, right? M, we usually use m to denote the slope. Okay, so m is the slope, b is the y-intercept. Okay, b is the y-intercept. So in other words, if we have a graph that looks something like this point right here, that's the y-intercept, and this would have the coordinates of 0, comma b. Okay, so the y value here on the y-axis is, exactly the value there, and you know how to find the slope of a line, right? You just need 2 points, and again, use your formula. Okay, so this y-intercept is the value of b. Okay, so that's what this is about. Now let's look at some examples here. It says the graph of a linear function has a slope of 3 over 5, so we know that m equals 3 over 5. And the y-intercept is -4, so b is -4. Oh, perfect, it gives us everything. So the equation of this line is simply going to be y equals mx, so 3 over 5x, right? Because this is our m, that's our m, plus b, well b, because this time is negative, so it's going to be -4. Okay, I know it says plus b, but we have a minus sign here. That is because our b is -4, right? Because it says y-intercept is -4. And that's it. That is equation of this line. Okay, the equation of the line that has a y-intercept of -4, that has a slope of 3 over 5 is y equals 3 over 5x minus 4. Okay, so that's pretty easy. Part B says the graph of a linear function has a slope of -5 over 7. Okay, so again, m should equal to -5 over 7, not a problem. But this time it tells us the x-intercept of 3. So this is not y-intercept, so this is not the value of b. Okay, so what we need to do is this, okay? So x-intercept is 3, that means the coordinates of that point is 3, comma 0. Now we know y equals mx plus b. Okay, now we don't know what y is, but we do know m is -5 over 7 times x plus b. So we still don't know what this value of b is. What we can do is we can use this point that is on the line to help us to figure out the value of b. So what we can do now is we can plug in 3 and 0 into x and y, right? Remember, this is the x coordinate and that's the y coordinate. So what we can do is, instead of writing a 0, we can write, instead of writing a y, we can write a 0, okay? -5 over 7 is still -5 over 7. Now, instead of x, we are going to write 3 instead, okay? So again, and plus b is plus b, okay? And how I got this is because, again, here is the point that this line goes through. So I can plug in those two x and y values into the equation, and now you can see we are only down to one single variable. Okay, so then if we solve this, -5 times 3 is -15 over 7 plus b, and therefore to solve for b, we simply move the -15 over 7 to the left by adding it, so b would equal to 15 over 7. Okay, And therefore, we know the value of m, we know the value of b, therefore we know the equation of this line. It is -5/7x plus the value of b, which is 15/7, and that is your equation. Okay, so part B is slightly trickier, right? You need to actually get into, put the equation into the form with the unknown, which is the value of b. We need to use this point that the line goes through to help us to find the value of b. Okay, by plugging the x and y values into the equation, right, to replace the x and the y. Okay, so there are two practice questions for you to try. Here's one, and here's one on the back page. Okay, so give it a try. Okay, first one should be easy. Again, this is the value of m. This is the value of b. Therefore, the equation is y equals m x plus b. Okay, not a problem. That was pretty, oh, what am I doing here? Why is it -7/x? -7/3x plus 5. Okay, so that's the first one. It's nice and simple. Second one is a little bit challenging because, again, it tells you the x-intercept. Now, it does not have to give you an x-intercept, right? It could give you just any point, okay? Because if it gives you a point, that means you have x and y value for you to plug it in. Okay, it doesn't have to be x-intercept. But we do know if it's x-intercept, that means the coordinates will be 2, 0. The slope is 12/5. So again, right away, I can say that I have the equation 12/5x plus b. I can then plug in 2 and 0 into x and y, so 0 for y, and I don't need the bracket here. I do need that bracket for x. The x value is 2 plus b. So if I expand this, 12 times 2 is 24/5 plus b. To solve for b, you move the 24/5 to the left by subtracting it. So b would equal to -24/5, right? Because 0 minus 24/5 is -24/5. So we know the value of m, we know the value of b, we have the equation y equals 12/5x plus b. Again, in this case, b is then negative, therefore it becomes -24/5, and that is the equation. Okay, hopefully that's not too bad. After a couple of practices, hopefully you get the hang of it. All right, now of course we're gonna graph it, right? I mean, we were given some information and we came up with the equation, and now we are given the equation and we're trying to graph it. Of course, you can use the table of values, right? But it will be much easier if we can actually just use the slope and the y-intercept to graph. Okay, it will actually be much easier and much quicker. So what's the slope here? Well, the slope, again, recall, you gotta compare this with y equals mx plus b. So here is our value of m, which is 1/2, and that is our slope. This is the value of b, and that is our y-intercept. So the y-intercept is 3, 1, 2, 3, right here. That's my initial point. That's my starting point. And the slope is 1/2, so I'm going to go 1 up and 2 to the right. Now you can get more points by keep going, 1 up, 2 to the right. And I can also go in backwards by going 1 down, 2 to the left. 1 down, 2 to the left. Okay. Obviously, when you draw a line, if you have a ruler, all you need is 2 points. And then you can just use the ruler to join those 2 points, and you get your very nice and accurate graph. Now, because it's hard to use a ruler on the screen, so I'm just going to plot more points so it's easier, or at least it looks nicer, right, when I draw the line. Okay, there you go. Give it a try for your second practice question. Hopefully it's not too bad. Okay, so again, you can notice that this is y equals mx plus b. Slope is -3/4. Y-intercept is 2. So start at the y-intercept of 2. The slope is -3/4, so we're going to go 3 down. 1, 2, 3, and 4 to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to get another point. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to go backwards. I'm going to go 3 up. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. 3 up and 4 to the left. And there is my line. Let me join my points together. Okay, it looks something like this. There we go. Okay, hopefully this is not too difficult, right? You just simply plot the y-intercept and then use a slope to find the next point, and then again use a ruler to join them. Okay, the third example. Well, now we use the equation to graph, and now we're going to go backwards, right? We're going to use the graph to help us define the equation. So to do this, what you have to do is you got to determine what the y-intercept is, and then calculate the slope from any 2 points on the graph, okay? So if you look at this graph right here, here is the y-intercept of -4. So right away, we know that b is -4. To find out what the slope is, you need to find 2 good points, right? So we can use the formula. So here's not a good point. I can simply just count. Right? I don't actually need to use the formula to solve it. You could, if you wanted to, recall it's y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. But I can just count. Again, when I count, I always count from left to right. So I'm going to start from this point. I'm going to go 2 to the right. Actually, let me count right first, because it's usually go rise over run, right? So we're going to go 1, 2, 3 units down, so -3, and then 2 units to the right, so this run is 2. There you go. You got the value of m, you got the value of b. Therefore, the equation is y equals, again, mx plus b. And therefore, y equals m is -3/2 times x plus the y-intercept of +4. And there you go. Oh, sorry, -4. My bad. I didn't see the negative sign there. Sorry, so it's -3/2x minus 4. Okay, hopefully it's not too bad. There's your practice question. Should be a pretty simple lesson, I think. Okay, so here is your y-intercept of -3. So the value of b is -3. To find another good point, it looks like this is a good point. So I'm going to go 2 units up. So rise is 2, and 1 to the right. So the run is 1. 2/1 is just 2. And therefore, your equation is mx plus b, so 2x minus 3. Okay, pretty straightforward, hey? All right, the last example I need to show you is some word problems, okay? So let's see. It says Burnaby Mountain puts on a dance next month. A ticket sells for $5, and the cost to hire a DJ and equipment was $300. So it says, part A, write an equation for the profit, okay, P, profit. And if you don't know what a profit is equal to the total income minus the total cost on the sale of the number of tickets, T, okay? So to find out the total income, well, the more ticket I sell, right, the more money I get. Well, each ticket is $5, right? It's going to sell for $5, so the total income, so P is equal to total income just 5T, right? 5 times the number of tickets that we sell. That was sold, right? And then it says hire DJ and equipment is $300. And that would be the cost, so minus $300. So if you write this as a function notation, okay, so the better way of writing this should be P of T is equal to 5T minus 300, right? The profit depends on the number of tickets sold, okay? So this piece is the income, and this piece is the cost. Okay, so income minus the cost gives you the profit, and that's the profit. Okay. Okay, I guess maybe I should not include minus sign, right? But the cost is negative. It makes sense. Okay, part B says, suppose 123 students bought tickets. What was the profit? Okay, well, if there are 120, so that means we're looking for the profit for the number of tickets sold, which is 123. And that is equal to 5T minus 300. So all you have to do is plug in 123 into T, and then put it into a calculator. Well, 5 times 123 is 615, I believe. So P of 123 should equal to 615 minus 300, which is $315. So the profit would be $350 if 123 students bought tickets. Okay, part C. Suppose the profit was $350. How many people bought tickets? So now the profit is $350. So we're gonna, instead of replacing T, we're gonna replace the value of P, right? Because that's the profit. So $350 is equal to 5T minus 300. To solve for t, I'm going to add 300 on both sides, so you get 650 equals 5t. You add 300 here, you add 300 there, divide both sides by 5, you should get t equals, so divide by 5, 130 tickets sold. Okay, so that would be the answer. Assuming everyone, a person can only buy one ticket, then that means 130 students bought the ticket, or 130 people bought the tickets. All right, so that is the lesson. Hopefully you find this lesson fairly straightforward. Remember, the key is that you gotta remember it's mx plus b, where m stands for the slope. We've seen that, for a while now, and b is the value for the y-intercept. Okay, there's some practice questions for you to try. Let me know if you need some help. Okay, good luck.